I find it very prophetic that this agenda of transitioning young children into a gender that they will actually never be um, is very evil, and it is in alignment with how the enemy works in the context of wanting to kill, steal, and destroy. And he's always been after the family unit from the garden, from the fall. Like, he wanted to tear apart the family. He wants to disconnect us from God, from our purpose, from who we are designed and created to be. So I think this agenda is a very big attack on God's creation. How are we going to repopulate naturally, which there's already issues in that field, like with male and female relationships, but how are we going to have repopulate the earth when a whole generation is sterilized ultimately? Like, when we're cutting off their reproductive organs, when we're, you know, stripping them of their natural hormones. And it's just really interesting to have the lens, the point of view on how this all makes sense for like the enemy's greater plan in this category. So yeah, it's very sad. And I am very passionate about the community. Like, my heart goes out to them. I, you know, couldn't imagine what it actually feels like to be in a world where that is a solution, where puberty blockers and hormone replacement, hormone therapy, where affirming therapy is the solution presented to them. Like, that's so scary. And I reflect on when I was a young girl. I started puberty quite young. Like, I was just about to turn 10 when I started my menstrual cycle, and I was horrified. I was so upset. I was so embarrassed. I was so mad. I was in pain. I was in confusion. Only a few months before then, that I could recall, my parents got me an American Girl book where I learned about the menstrual cycle briefly through their illustrations. And the illustrations and the solutions that were presented in that book were um, using tampons. And I was horrified. I'm like, I have to stick something inside of me. I'm going to be bleeding. It was horrifying. I did not want to be a female at all. Like, I was already what you would call a tomboy. I loved playing with my brother and his friends. It was a very, like, kids were outside, pogo sticks, bikes, sidewalk chalk, hide and seek, like the good old days. Um, and I was absolutely horrified that I only thought like that was the solution. Like, I have to stick something inside of me. I'm gonna be bleeding. I started developing breasts, and I was like, I want them off. I do not want this. And I was just embarrassed. Like, my dad was the first one that told me I needed to start wearing a bra now, because I was getting like my little mosquito bites coming through, and he was like, I do not want to see that. I remember his like way of addressing it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, embarrassed when my mom brought home like sports bras, had to try them on and show her. And I'm like, I get it. I get it that these kids are thinking, I hate my body. I do not feel good being a female because of all these changes that are happening, which it's like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, even like a 13-year-old brain does not have any more for like information and resources than they do. especially during the time that I was growing up, in the 90s, it's like the onset of internet was there, but now these kids are inundated with technology and information immediately, so they find these communities that affirm that, yeah, if you feel this way, if you hate your breasts or if you hate your genitalia, like, you're probably the opposite sex. Like, you shouldn't feel that way. But that's not true. That's just like puberty. That's just growing into who you are and experiencing these sudden shifts that are so foreign. And it's like, depending on the conversations that have prepared you or not for this change, it could be in like a blink of an eye that these changes are happening and you're like totally against them. So it wasn't until like this last month that I was reflecting on my personal experience and how if I was a kid in today's world going through those experiences, I would be basically told I'm a boy, and if I don't transition, I'll probably want to just kill myself. And that is crazy. That is like, it's sick, it's heartbreaking, it's like rushing the process beyond belief. And I'm just so thankful that I did not have access and exposure to that narrative, because it's false. Of course, I hate having a period every month. Like, I could definitely do without it, but it doesn't mean I want to be a man. It doesn't mean I don't like being a woman. And it's just, yeah, it's just amazing to see that the natural reproductive like experience is being stopped because of the natural feelings that come with those changes. It's absolutely insane. So I really do pray that, especially the state of California, another reason why I'm leaving. Like, it's crazy here. But I really do pray that people realize that it's insanity. And sure, there may be like people that are genuinely not happy in their bodies and they want to do surgeries and they want to live in a different lifestyle, and that's a whole different topic for what got them there, you know like a whole different topic. But again, that comes back down in like full circle with the therapeutic process of like, what got you there? When did you start feeling this? Like, let's explore it. And there are definitely happily transitioned people, 100%. And I wish them all the best. And I like pray that they did make the right decision. But a lot of the people who are happily transitioned have transitioned in their adulthood. And so that's like a decision that they made after puberty, and that they were in a clear mind to do that decision. So, yeah. So anyways, those are my reasons why I quit my master's program to go into the therapeutic field. I absolutely still am passionate about helping people, understanding people, the way that we function. I'll never not want to be someone that helps people heal and discover who they are authentically. So that is always within me, which leads me into the beauty of being a stylist. So I went and got my barber's license to do hair maybe like 2022. No, yeah, the year of 2022. And I saw that just as like something that I could do anywhere, right? I don't have to go through this grandiose process in order to have this job that I'm already passionate about. So I now experience being a hairstylist as a form of therapy. I'm able to literally touch people and make them feel better about themselves, give them a look that they've been desiring, a refresh, help their hair be healthy, help them feel good about themselves. Oftentimes, clients sit in my chair and are like, here's the tea, and they start talking about their lives. Sometimes it's just the silent session and they need that time of like peace and quiet, and that in itself is therapeutic, and so I see it super aligned, where I could still exercise my education in both fields of psychology and the hair industry, and help touch people's lives and help encounter them in a powerful, positive way, and without the stress of losing my license by talking about any form of controversial topic. But yeah, still being invited and having the privilege to speak into someone's life and to impact someone's life is something that I absolutely love, and I couldn't be happier having the opportunity to be in this field. So I struggled a little bit upon leaving my master's program about, my identity and how proud I was to become a licensed therapist. Like, it's a noble thing. And I saw so much of who I was in that. And that was a big part of like struggling leaving. But I got over that and I realized like that is not my identity. I am crazy. Um, so yeah, and it's beautiful, and it's always something I wanted to do. I wanted to have multiple careers, multiple jobs, kind of like touch on everything I'm passionate about. So it's interesting to see how it pans out. But a little note to whoever is in their program, whether you're in high school, college, of any year, or considering it. Do you want to be a therapist in this climate? Do you have what it takes to get through the education process and the intern process? Are you financially able? There's a lot of factors, I think, with any field that requires masters and beyond. Even a bachelor's, are you taking out student loans? Are you ready to pay those? What's the intensity of the actual course? So all things to consider. But then also just like the rules and regulations of the field, is that something that you align with morally? And if not, it's a great question to ask yourself. Is this right for me? Is there anything I could do still in the scope that I could express and live out my skills, my passion, and my talents? It's not always the path that is extremely paved that's correct. You could always create your own, and you could always find your calling in a different field that you really never imagined. So that's all on this topic, but if you want to know more or are interested in specific points that I've made, feel free to let me know in the comments, and thank you as always for tuning in.